Today, we're going to talk about 3 ways to live a better balanced lifestyle. And our guest speaker is MarBeth Dunn. Hello, MarBeth.
Hello. So lovely to be here with you, Jessica.
Thank you for being here today. And thank you for sharing your knowledge with all real estate agents right here with us on Facebook. Now, when I look at the description as a guest speaker, it said you are a mindset, success, and happiness coach.
Yes.
Now, the first thing came up to me, I'm like, this is a life coach. Am I right or am I wrong?
In a matter of speaking, I'm not your typical coach.
Okay.
I work more from an energetic standpoint because I work with, I've developed something called energy management, which is a holistic framework for individualized life development. And it synthesizes energy healing techniques and spiritual principles and empowerment training and yoga. And it's basically something that's unique for each person that I work with because everyone is unique.
Okay. So if I go for me when I'm thinking, because I never heard about a mindset, success, and happiness coach. So for me, a life coach is someone I can go to and work on anything when it comes to my personal life and even professional life or love life and real estate life too, a lot.
Yes.
If I come to see you, it will not be for the same reason, or would it be like more like a exercise involved? I know you mentioned the word yoga and energy. I just want to clarify a little bit better so people understand.
No, it is actually more along the lines of life coaching, but
Okay.
it's really unique with everyone that I work with because we're all unique individuals. And I actually specialize in working with people who are highly sensitive, and you know who you are. People who may feel other people's energy almost too strongly. Sometimes they may feel that they're overwhelmed, or they may have just awareness of other people's feelings. Maybe they feel like they're just a little too empathic. That is my specialty, but I work with others as well.
Okay. Now, you're talking about 3 ways to live a better balanced life. Can you share with us what are the 3 ways?
Sure. We're going to talk about awareness and how it can increase your success and confidence. We're going to talk about maximizing the 3 levels of your consciousness, I guess, and also how to access the energy of the greats to help you achieve greater balance and success.
So let's talk about the first one, awareness. That's a big one for us.
It's a huge one because awareness can be defined in many different ways, but I would like to define it as a state where a person is aware of some information, and that when that information is available, it can basically shift the direction of their behavior and all of their different processes in life. So it can shift your lifestyle. So when you are aware, so often we're actually like we're inside of a jar, and we can't read the label on the outside of the jar because we're in it. And we're just not aware of the reasons that we get stuck and we're not able to achieve the success that we want in our job, achieve the balance that we want in our life. And there's several things that can cause that, just from an energetic standpoint. When you're inside that jar, you may not recognize that you have self-sabotaging patterns or beliefs. And
now, when I think about awareness, and tell me if I'm wrong, but when I think about awareness, sometimes I think we're lacking on taking a break and see what we have done. And for me, that's awareness. Is like, we need to step back and even, at the end of the day and analyzing your day. Okay, what did I do today that I could have done better? or what did I do that was great? Because you also have to reward yourself, right? For me, that's the definition of awareness. And I think if everyone will take a step back 5 minutes a day and analyze what happened during the day, right there, they can grow like so much more. Am I in the right direction?
You absolutely are. And what I think is also really important is to give yourself kudos. It's so often we criticize ourselves and we look for what's wrong and oh my gosh, did I really say that? You know, what happened? And you start to think about all the things that went wrong during the day. I'm going to say, focus on what went right. Build yourself up, give yourself kudos. Because when you focus on what's wrong, if your awareness is centered on everything that was wrong, you're going to repeat what's wrong. But if you focus on what's right, then you're going to be creating much more of what's right. And we have to really be aware of how we talk to ourselves and also how we praise ourselves, I guess. A praise is so important. We may not have gotten it as children. And it's so important to remember to praise ourselves and to build ourselves up. You have such a wonderful attitude. You just have a whole level of joy that just comes off of you. And that's really beautiful. It attracts people. People want to be around you because of the energy that you're projecting. And if people are focusing, and say if you, on the contrary, were focusing on what was wrong with you, you would have a completely different energy and people would be, I don't know if I really want to work with this woman, you know, because you would just not be the happy, joyful person that you are.
Another thing too, I think what's happening for us as real estate agents too is during the day we're so busy with everything, right? We have so many deals to deal with. We're having a lot of stress and we handle it. But at the end of the day, we're so tired. I think sometimes the negative thoughts come first because it's the end of the day, the production is done and we're like tired. So the first thing we come when it comes to awareness is the negative, or because we're tired. And I think we need to control our mind a little bit better. And said, hey, you know what? I need to look at the positive of the day and not just the bad thing that just happened. Which go back to the question I have here. What do you mean by shifting your thoughts or perception?
Okay. Well, we sometimes perceive things not as they are. We have filters. We see things through particular filters of our beliefs. So if you were, example, you were in a line and somebody cut you off, they just stepped right in front of you, you might just attribute it to, oh, they're just having a rough day, and it doesn't bother you at all. But if you come from the perception that people hurt me and I'm a victim, then you're going to react to that in a whole different way and feel like, oh, of course they did that because people always do that to me. And so that you want to shift that perception. That we talked a little bit about being inside the jar and not being able to read the label. You might not be able to see that because that is such an intrinsic belief for you that sometimes that awareness looks at what happened today. Is this a pattern that repeats? And what might be the reason for that pattern repeating?
Now, do you suggest, I know, like I personally do affirmation every morning, but do you suggest for people who needs to have that mind switch where you give the example, one thing like a text, you're sending a text and maybe 10 people will have a totally different meaning of that text because the way they think.
Right.
And you just need to think the right way, the positive way, or whatever you look at the opportunity. So do you think to fix that, people need to do daily mind exercise and affirmation to to start switching these thoughts.
I think affirmations are okay, but they don't necessarily work as well as people would like them to, especially if you already have a pattern that's pretty well ingrained. Sometimes then you need to do a little more work to release that. In general, if you don't have any resistance to it, affirmations will work great. But if there is resistance to it, then you may have, some issues in shifting it. But what you can do is start to shift the way you talk to yourself. And notice from that awareness standpoint, oh, I just made myself feel bad. What did I think? What did I hear? And just remember that events are just events. Events are neutral. And you put the value on them. You're the one who either takes offense or feels victimized or doesn't let it affect you at all. It's just an event. That person might just have been completely unconscious and didn't see you there when they cut ahead of you in line. Mm-hmm. And, you're the one that put that value on it. But if you just continuously here's a great affirmation, everything always goes great for me.
And I agree. And, I'm a city girl. So if I look at when I was a teen living in a city, I was kind of that not really positive mind, pretty like rude on the street. I don't have time. That person crossed me, I'm going to have an attitude. That's the type of person I used to be. And with time, I start being aware of what's happening. And now, like you said, like if someone's having a bad day and cut me off or just like not being nice, I'm like, you know what? He's just having a bad day. It's okay. You have to move on.
Sure.
Now, why do you think real estate agent needs a coach?
Oh, well, because going back to being inside the jar and not being able to read the label, we can't see very often. We don't know what the patterns are. For a long time, I was in a very difficult marriage, and just going to be a little vulnerable here, if that's okay. I was basically the one who was working in the family, and I had 2 young daughters, and the stress was just overpowering. What that would be like. I'd work from morning till night, and I had, my 2 daughters, and I do have real estate agents as clients that have children, and I know that trying to achieve that balance with your life and your work, well, it almost wiped me out, and it did basically almost cost me my marriage at the time. So I know, what can happen when you're out of balance. And I do specialize in helping people to get back into balance. And so when I can help people to see the patterns, the self-sabotaging beliefs, a lot of the patterns come from early childhood programming until we're about 5 or 6. We're like little sponges. We're absorbing everything from our family. And we may not realize, because it's in a completely different package, that our boss is exactly like our father, who was very verbally abusive. We might not recognize that we keep attracting these very difficult clients because that's the type of relationship we need to solve. And we may not recognize that, I experienced the loss of someone I loved very much, and that never healed. And so because of that, I keep feeling this sadness that doesn't come back, that keeps coming back. And, these are things that people don't realize affect their bottom line. I had a client many years ago, not a realtor, but she lost her job and her mother in the same week. And were they related? Very often things like that are related, because when you experience a very deep loss, you actually lower your vibrational frequency to a place where you're attracting the same type of situation to yourself. And I was able to help her shift her beliefs and recognize all the gifts that were involved in both of those situations. And it's very difficult to see them sometimes. But I gave her some techniques, and one was very, very powerful. And she pulled in a new job within about 6 weeks that was not didn't appear to be as good a job. It wasn't as interesting for her. But within 3 months, someone had left the company, she moved up, and she's still there. And she is just thriving. They give her, she wins vacations every year, because of the success that she's achieved with this job. Now, is this entirely because of the coaching work? No. But it helped. It helped release the stress. It helped release the sense of loss. It helped open her up her confidence and her ability to believe in herself and to attract something that was going to create great success for her. So
right, and it also helped you become more successful. Do you think that the new generation, it will be harder for them to become more successful because they're not as grateful of what we have, and they're more like entitled? And I think sometimes being too much entitled can affect you emotionally and in your business, because you're not grateful with what you have. And by not being grateful of what you have, it's hard for you to grow. What do you think about that?
I totally agree with that. I think that gratitude is a key component in your growth and in your success. And that actually has been scientifically proven. And they've done different experiments with people at work, people who did not list anything to be grateful for, and people who only listed 5 things that they could be grateful for in 1 week. And they were earning more money, and they felt better, and their health improved. So, these have been scientific experiments that have shown that gratitude can make a huge difference. So I think that's really, really important that we recognize that, yes, we're entitled to good things, but we also need to be grateful for them.
We do. Thank you very much, MarBeth. Any last word for all our real estate agents who's going to watch these videos?
I would say that, become aware. Oh, I wanted to also help people to access the energy of the greats. It's a wonderful exercise. Like if you wanted to access the energy of Oprah or Bill Gates, I wanted to share that with our agents, but I don't know that we have time.
Yes, share it. I want to hear it. I want to know.
Okay. So we are basically energy. Now, I know we appear to be solid bodies, but if you know the rudimentary physics, atoms are basically composed of space. They have, there are different components, the electrons and the neutrons and the nucleus and all of this. But if you took all of the space that was in an atom and took all of the matter that was in the atom, all of the matter that's in the atoms in our body would condense into the size of an apple seed. So basically, we are energy and we are space. And if you've ever walked into a room and you felt, oh, the vibes here are terrible, I just don't want to even go here. Or you've walked into a room and you feel the vibrations are just so happy. Like when you got on the call today, it was like, yes, I am so glad that we're having this conversation today. So you're feeling the energy of the other person or the other people. Now we have the capacity, because there are 3 levels of being, which I did say I was going to talk about today. And we have body, mind, and spirit. Now, the beautiful thing about our spiritual awareness is that we can expand that, and we can expand that far beyond our body. And I mean, if we're going to get into a spiritual aspect to it, I would say that our bodies are finite, but the spiritual part of us is eternal. Now we can extend that spiritual part of us, that awareness, and, take somebody that you really admire, somebody who's so successful, somebody that you would like to emulate, and maybe it's Oprah. So you can just close your eyes for a minute and just relax and just imagine that Oprah is standing right in front of you. And you can feel her energy. You can feel the essence of who she is. You feel her success, her confidence. You feel the very presence of her. And what we can do is just bring our awareness into that energetic presence of Oprah, moving in so that we can feel that confidence, that success, that level of knowing how to be more confident, how to be more successful, and just stay in that awareness of what it's like to be Oprah.
Beautiful. And I live by that. I agree with you. And you can feel it anywhere you go. When you walk in a room, when you walk to an office, you can feel the energy. Or just like saying hi to a person, you can already kind of said, okay, that will be the type of person I think I'm going to deal with it, just with the energy. And
Sure.
and like you just said, like how you can affect a lot of people just by being in a room or just spiritually. I was with Oprah just a couple minutes ago.
Yes, you were.
I was, and you're right. And I don't, you know what? I don't have TV at home. I don't follow her too much. I just see things online a little bit. But I know she always have that beautiful smile. And when you told me to close my eyes and follow her, that's the only thing I could see. That beautiful, happy woman.
I love it.
Love it.
Yeah. And so, well, you're already in a beautiful, happy place. And so, but you can feel that energy that is Oprah. And you can actually choose, we always can choose to be that energy if we desire. And what does that bring to you? Well, it brings you enhanced confidence. It brings you an enhanced presence. You're not taking anything away from Oprah by doing this. You're not doing it.
Do you think people fear of judgment for them being like who they really want to be? That's what I think sometimes. I'm like, just let it go, just be. And I think maybe people fear of judgment. Could it be one thing? Like they fear that people might misjudge them or because they are who they want to be, like getting that energy out.
Judge that. People can very often project feelings that they don't like in themselves on other people. And so then they would judge other people. They would judge you because you have qualities that they're afraid of allowing in their own being. They're afraid of being their magnificent selves. They're afraid of being successful. And so when you are and you're embodying that, well, you become something that they judge. They don't recognize because it's too scary for them to recognize that they have that same ability within them. They really want that, but they instead they would judge you and project on you what they're afraid of.
What they're afraid of. MarBeth, you made me a better person already just by having energy here today in this room. And I'm sure you made someone's life better today. And we're going to go home and work on that energy.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. And I really hope I have some gifts for our viewers. And is it okay if I talk about them?
Yes. And we also on the post, there is a link, the link you give to Tori. It's on the Facebook post. You want to?
Wonderful. Yeah, I have a page, Rockstar Realtors USA. And on the page, I have a roadmap for real estate riches. And it's very simple, but simple is not always easy. And I offer 7 different steps that you can do to release stress and to create greater balance and to achieve greater success. And also, I'm offering an opportunity for a free reputation booster session with me. It's a 30-minute session, and we'll talk maybe about
reputation. Did you say reputation booster?
I did a reputation booster because I have some great techniques to help you to create a better reputation. And also we can look at some of the things that might be keeping you stuck from being the most magnificent realtor you can be and amazing person.
So you doing is it like a 15 or 30 minutes consultation?
30 minutes, yeah.
Reputation booster. I love that.
It's absolutely free, but it's something that every realtor needs. You know, people in other business need it too. But you know,
no matter what type of real estate agent, you can be a brand new agent or even a top producer who closed 500 houses last year. We all need some kind of coaching in our life.
Absolutely. It makes you better. And it's an investment in yourself, because when you invest in yourself, you're allowing yourself to reap greater riches.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. MarBeth, thank you. If anyone in the show wants to reach you, they have the link. We have the email and phone number. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much. This has really been a lot of fun.
Thank you, everyone, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.